Hey guys, how you doing out there today? It's been a week or so since I've been able to post anything. Last time we had a little review and talk about the Headstone's new record, which I've still been listening to, so definitely check that one out. Check out the review on my channel here, and be sure to pick up the album and have a listen, or have a listen on your favorite streaming service. Today, I think I told you last time I was going to go like as modern as I can and look at something new. So new music day, new music review that's not, part of my genre. So, this is a modern, mostly biased musicology. So realistically, folks, where's the bias for me? It's in rock and roll, right? That's my genre of choice. But as a musicologist, I have to be very broad. I gotta listen to as much as I possibly can, and I gotta appreciate everything. I gotta have a wide taste to totally understand music as a whole, because it's not just about one genre. You can't say that one is exclusively better than any other. So as much as I love rock and roll, I have elements of a love for pop, love for jazz, a love for blues. Well, actually, I really love blues. It ties in with rock and roll a lot. But anyway, that's another bias, right? So today, I thought we would have a little discussion and review of Katy Perry's latest album, Witness. Now, as a precursor here, guys, I do have a soft spot for Katy Perry. I like Katy Perry's music. My wife loves Katy Perry's music. When we were younger and in our dating days before marriage, we even went and saw Katy Perry on one of her very first tours at the Cool House in Toronto, and it was a great show. It was a great show. I feel actually pretty privileged to have seen Katy at a smaller club just before the very big explosion of I Kissed a Girl and that first record of hers. And you know what? She put on a great show. She's very charismatic on stage. Had some, good effects and stage props and effects. And, that's half of, great pop artists is the show, right? Because, when you're just a singer and a solo artist, it can be difficult to have that kind of a big stage presence, or the same kind of show without some kind of props and theatrics, right? So yeah, I've enjoyed her music. She's always had good lyrics and something to say for the most part. But that being said, her last album, Prism, was a little bit of a letdown. So how does Witness stand up, right? So Witness, it's interesting, right? There's ups and downs in Witness, and the first thing that stands out to me is that the production value is pretty high. Like one of the best things about the record is that it is the sounds and everything on it are well produced. And it's definitely a shift for Katy. This is now her 5th record, so she's moving away from that, bubblegum pop, I guess, as you might call it, of modern bubblegum pop sound that she had to begin with. And it's darker. It's a darker sound, but it's really dancey at times and really like groove. Like there's a good groove in the music. So there are some standout tracks. Chained to the Rhythm, that first single of hers, I actually quite enjoy it. It's got a really nice beat to it, and the production work is good, and it's got kind of that reggae-ish, sort of Caribbean club kind of feel, which is cool, and it's a little different for Katy, right? There's a track at the third last track on the record. It is called No, now I gotta think about it. Hold on a second. So it was a really cool title too. It was a really cool title. It was called Save His Draft. Yeah, there we go. Save His Draft. And that was a cool tune. It's got like neat lyrics. Save His Draft is a wicked title, and that's the kind of writing that makes me enjoy Katy. It's smart writing. And there is definitely some, intelligence there in the words that she chooses. So actually, I gotta say, the last 3 tracks on the record were probably 3 of the best. It's kind of like the first few tracks on the record are actually really good as well. And then in the middle there, it got a little stale. It's I think part of the problem with this particular album, is that it had a lot of producers and a lot of time at a lot of different studios. So it was kind of a bit of a mishmash of work. There wasn't necessarily a consistent vision or sound throughout the record, which you can tell. There's a little bit of... well, maybe it should be said that there's a lack of dynamic on it. Katy's vocal work is, well, while she's a great singer, there are times when it's just very similar throughout. Melodies sounding very similar, and her styling sounding very similar. So you don't get the same depth as you do on some of her other records, where there's a lot more dynamic. Between, fast songs, slow songs, and even within those songs, whether it's rhythmic changes, timing changes, or just overall melody and how it's structured, there's a lot more dynamic in her earlier work. I really like the direction she's going, and I like the sound, the new darker club sound. I think it's great, and it has a lot of value. I actually have a vinyl remix album from some of her earlier work, which is DJ remixes of her work, and it's awesome, man. I love putting that on, especially at a party, and people go, "What is this, man? What is this?" So this whole album reminds me more of that, with that sort of darker club feel, and so there's really good elements there, and there's going to be standout individual tracks, I can tell, that work really well, whether you're partying at the club or at home. They will work, but as an album as a whole, I think that it's a little bit loose. I think it's lacking some of that dynamic and that direction. And actually, this brings me to another quick little point. This isn't directly related to Katy or the album, but I gotta tell you guys, one thing I miss the most about, new album day, new record day, and having to go and buy the physical copy of the record, whether it be CD or vinyl, is the friggin' liner notes, man. I miss liner notes. I'm sitting listening to this music yesterday, and I'm trying to make, a good call on what I think about it, and really, trying to analyze it. And one of the things I've always gone back to with any artist, if I like it, especially when you go, "Hey, that production work, man, the production is great. Who produced this thing?" I can't find out. I'm on Google Play listening to this record, and I have no idea who produced any of it. I don't know who wrote any of the songs. I don't know who played on each track. I got to go on to Google, and I got to Google it. And then what do I find? I find a Wikipedia page, which is pretty decent, but it's a mishmash, and it is, like, I don't know if that's really what Katy wanted people to hear. I don't know, who knows, right? So that's one thing that is starting to become missed in the art, right? In the art of music, is the full package, right? Used to be that the album artwork and the liner notes and the work within the sleeve of the vinyl or even the CD pressing was a part of a full artistic presentation and package, and that is getting missed. We're seeing some cover art exclusively on the streaming services, which you don't even see necessarily in full form to understand what it might have to do or be about the music. But that's missing. So I'm going to challenge all of us tech guys out there and technical people within IT, and especially the musicians and artists that are technical people. Let's figure out a better way to do it, guys. Let's get some kind of art and package out to these people so that they can have that full experience that we used to have when we were younger. The new millennials, they don't even care. They don't care who the label is. They don't care who the producers are, because they don't even have the ability to find out in most cases, right? So I think that is important, because I definitely feel the lack of that support within the streaming services and within looking at new music. So, but back to the album. Overall, let's say that this is a 3 out of 5 record. There's definitely going to be tracks that I'm going to listen to, but more as individual singles on a playlist. I probably won't listen to the album as a whole. Again, similar to Prism, Katy had a number of songs where the lyrical focus was obviously on her ex, Russell Brand. So Katy, I know that that's a very difficult experience to have to go through, and I understand that there will be a lot of writing related to it, but I also feel like the vision and the package as a whole might have been better without quite as much a focus on it as there was a focus on the last album, Prism, about that as well. But that being said, I like the direction. I like the sounds. I love the synth sounds on this album. They're really rich. There's a lot of reverb. So again, the production work is pretty top notch. But in some areas the writing and dynamic is just lacking. So anyway, that's my chat about Katy Perry's Witness for today. Stay tuned, because I got something really awesome coming up on the channel. We're going to take a break from these music reviews, and I'm going to start a new segment that's going to be all about live on location music history walking tours. Okay. So we're, throughout different months and periods, I'm going to highlight different areas that I'm going to and traveling to that have any kind of musical history significance. So the first one, New York, New York. That's right. I'm going to the big NYC. I'm going to go check out as many music history sites as I possibly can, and shoot something live on location to show you guys and give you some ideas of some really awesome places that you guys can check out if you're ever in the area. Even if you just want to see what the places look like, just in the quick form. A lot of these types of places, usually the only way I can figure out where they are or what they are is through some serious research and or watching a really long documentary. So, I'm really excited to bring you guys this in a short format on YouTube, and stay tuned for that, because that's coming up in the coming weeks. The walking tour, the music history walking tour, live from New York City, right here on a mostly modern, mostly biased musicology. This is Chesney signing off.